think I'm live on Instagram and I'm live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. It's your intrepid songwriter chronicling my adventures as a songwriter, because seriously, who does that? Nobody does that. Nobody's out here telling you what that songwriter's life is really like, except me. So what I'm going to give you today is I'm going to give you a production tip and I'm going to give you a business tip, because you need both. You need to know how to make your music better, and you need to know how to get all your money. All right. So the first thing we're going to talk about is a production tip. Now, if you have some extra money to spend, or if you have money to invest into your rig, where do you think you should put your money? A lot of people say, well, I should put my money in better microphones. Well, better microphones are part of the process, but that's not what I'm talking about. That's not the actual best place to put your money. So if you have some extra money to spend, where should you put it? Where do you put that money? A lot of people say, well, I need a bigger MPC. I need the latest MPC I need, or whatever you make your beats on. Because a lot of y'all are running around trying to purchase better samples. And you shouldn't be doing that anyway. You should be making your own samples. Okay? Because I did a video on that already. That's what makes you sound like everybody else. You purchasing and downloading and using the same sample packs and the same free beats and the same everything as everybody else. That's why everything sounds the same. That's why you don't stand out as a producer or a beat maker. So no, you're not supposed to put your money in a better computer. You're not supposed to put your money in better microphones yet. That's part of the process. And no, it's not buying better sample packs. I'm going to tell you where to put your money if you've got some extra money to invest. And it's not where you think. Are you ready? Here it comes. Where you are supposed to put your money if you have extra money to invest in your rig is in your converters, your interface. That's where you're supposed to put your extra money. If you want your sound to take a quantum level of improvement, then where you want to spend that money is on a better interface. It's on better converters. That's where you put your money if you have extra money to spend. Now, what I'm going to do, I might do it in instant. I'll have to do it in the comments on Instagram once I post this. But I'm going to put it also on the description box in my YouTube video. I'm going to show you, I'm going to give you links to show you where to get some high quality converters. And when I say high quality, I'm talking about stuff like Lynx Aurora. I'm talking about stuff by Apogee. I'm talking about RME. Some of y'all know those names, but some of y'all don't. Some of y'all don't know what I'm talking about. This is the place you need to put your money. These are the kinds of things you need to buy to improve your sound. Your sound will take a quantum level leap, especially if you do like I told you to do, and you make your own samples. If you make your own samples, you need the best audio interface possible, okay? Because let's say when you take a drum sample, let's say when you take a kick drum sample, the difference between a live drum and a drum sample most of the time is that when it comes to a live drum, there is air around the kick, and you can hear it. You can hear it on whatever you use. Whenever you're using a live kit, drum kit, there's air around that kick. When you use a sample many times, no matter how well that sample was taken, a whole lot of stuff has to be taken out to make it usable among everybody's rig. So many times the air and a lot of the frequencies and a lot of the character is taken out to make it universal enough. Now, I know there's a million different drum kicks. I know that, and I know that, you know, they've been stylized, they've been tweaked to death. But if you're making your own, what you want to do is have an interface or have converters that when you take the sample of that kick, okay, it still has that air around it. And when you use a kick like that in your beats, and also if you layer, okay, if you mix, because you can always do that. You can take a live kick and add just a sine wave to it, or you can cut or add frequencies as you need. But whenever you're doing something like that, you want that original sample that you made to have as much air around it as possible, to have as much of the real sound as possible. And the only way to do that is not microphones first. You do have to use good mics. Like I said, it's not mics first, but you have to have a great interface. You have to have incredible converters. And I know some of y'all, see, if you work with DAWs, you know that each DAW has its own character. Like Logic sounds a certain way and colors the sound of your tracks. Pro Tools sounds a certain way. Cubase and the Window, they sound a certain way. Sonar, anything that you're working with. If you're still using Reason, anything that you're working with, that DAW has a very specific type of flavor that it adds the same way live soundboards add to your sound. Okay? Well, what you want to do is you need to compensate for that, because I know you have searched in the DAW to try to find how to make the sound better. And I know you search plug-in after plug-in and all this different kind of stuff. I know, because everybody goes through that. But what you don't understand is where the money's supposed to go is into your interface, into your converters. That's what you're looking for. That's what's missing in your sound. The sound that you want, that sounds professional, the sound that has all that air around it, and that thing that you can use to sample at higher sample rates, that's all in the converters. That's all in your A to D and D to A conversion. That's where you need to put your money. Okay? So again, I'm going to mention the names you need to be looking at. Lynx, especially the Lynx Aurora, RME, Apogee. Now I found, if you don't know about Apogee has two interfaces, one called One, that's a mono interface, and one called Duet, that's a stereo interface. So I'm going to put links to all that in the comments section on Instagram and in my description box on YouTube, so you can look at these. And some of this stuff is higher priced, yes, but some of this stuff is quite affordable. You'll be amazed at how quickly you sound better. Okay? So that's your production tip. Now I'm going to talk about your business tip. This is another one that I'm amazed that most people don't know about. Do you know what an ISRC is? That stands for International Standard Recording Code. Do you know what that is? Do you know what it stands for? Okay, so let me explain it to you. An ISRC is like a social security number for your track. Each track needs to have an ISRC, International Standard Recording Code. Each track that you release out of your studio needs to have an ISRC. Why is that? Because when your track has an ISRC attached to it, that's what helps people any place in the world track that track back to you. That's why so much money is left in royalties on the table every year, because people are putting stuff out on YouTube and putting stuff out on digital distributors. You know, you're using DistroKid, CD Baby, TuneCore, but you don't have a personal ISRC code. Now I'm going to put the link on my Instagram comments. Okay, Nova Cross, you get your ISRC codes in a separate process. You have to go to their website, you have to apply for a code, and then once you get it, you have to attach it to your track. So here's how it works. I'm going to give you the link for the website to go to, and then what happens is you apply on the ISRC website, and you get a code that's particular to your company. They will give you a code that's particular to your company, and the ISRC code is made up of several numbers, like the Social Security number. The first part of the ISRC code talks about what country you're in, and then it talks about the next numbers indicate your company in particular. Then you add, you're welcome, you add the number that your track has in your catalog, which is why you have to keep good records. So you have to have a spreadsheet or whatever you use to keep track of each one of your sound recordings. And each one of them has to have an individual ISRC that you assign. Okay, it's not something that someone else does for you. What you do is you apply for the code for your company, and then every time you release a sound recording, you catalog it and you decide what its number is. And you do the same thing for video. The ISRC code and how you tag it indicates if something is an audio recording or a video. Okay? When you send if you still use CDs, when you send your CDs to be replicated, you give Oasis or whoever you use to duplicate your CDs that ISRC code, and they actually embed it in the track. They actually embed it on the CD. Why do they embed it? Because when you are old school, when you put a CD into your computer and iTunes comes up, iTunes can read that ISRC code, but they actually have websites where you can track ISRC codes around the world. That means if your music ends up in Germany, you can track it. If your music ends up in Japan, you can track it. Okay? If your music ends up anywhere, you can track it. If you don't have that ISRC code attached to it, then they don't know who to pay the royalties to. They don't know how to track it back to you and your record label or whatever you use to put it out. Now, when you register your songs, your PA copyrights on ASCAP or BMI, there is a section in the registration that says ISRC code so that they can know which song, which track is yours. That's how they track it, or that's one of the ways they track it to get you your money. That's why you have to have an ISRC code on every track that you release out of your studio. So I will repeat, I will put the links. Here is the process. You go to the website, you fill out the application, you have to apply and pay a fee. Once they accept your fee and accept your application, they send you back in your email an acceptance, and then they send you back the information about your numbers. Those numbers are particular to your record label or your company. Then it's like a prefix. Then you take the prefix they assigned you, and then you add to the prefix whatever number track you're releasing. If it's track 1 for the year, and you do it every year. In other words, your track numbers are consecutive with how many times you drop during the year. So let's say this is 2023 and you've already put out 10 songs. You put the front part of your ISRC code, the prefix you got from the website, and then you put 00001, 00002, 00003, like that. And then when you go to next year, when we get to 2024, then we start over. So the numbers of your ISRC codes will include the year that you put them out if you want, and then you can start over, or you can keep the numbers going consecutively, but you can see how, once you get past a certain number, that's going to turn around on you. But you have to be into the tens of thousands of numbers to get that. So you can do it either way. You can mark your codes with the year you released them and the number of the release for that year, or you can mark your codes with the number in your catalog, how many songs you put out total, like your lifetime. You can number each one. Okay? But you can see there's a lot of paperwork. You have to keep up with that. But it's worth it. This is one of the most slept on registrations that people have, because this is how they track your track across the world. You want this, and you want your own. Sometimes when you go to digital distributors, and sometimes when you sign up for certain companies to do things for you, they give you their own ISRC codes attached to your track. And that's not what you want. What you want is your own ISRC codes. So to do that, you have to go to the website where you get them and apply and get your own prefix. And once you get your own prefix, then every time you release a track, you can tag it and it will be traced back to you. And that's how some places are going to find you to get you your money. I've got royalties from South Korea. One time I was looking at my ASCAP statement. I'm like, how did my music get in South Korea? But they found me and they paid me because I have ISRC codes for every song that I release. You understand? So this is not optional. This is something you need to be doing. This is something you should have been doing all along. Okay? So again, I'm going to put the links. Oh, there's Al. What's up, Al? I'm going to put the links in on Instagram. I'm going to put them in the comments on YouTube. I'm going to put them in the description box. So watch this video on either place, and I will give you the links to the converters that you need to be looking at. That's the first thing we talked about. Improving your sound is a matter of improving your converters. So we're talking about Links Aurora, we're talking about RMEs, and we're talking about Apogee. That's what you need to be using if you want to get your sound up to that professional sound, because you're not going to be able to get it just from your DAW and plugins alone. Because I know you frustrated yourself because everybody's been through that. I'm going to give you the links. The equipment's not free. I'm going to give you the link so you can go buy the equipment. Okay. So I'm going to do that. And then in terms of the ISRC, I'm going to put the link for their website, and where you go and apply for your code, you get a prefix specific to your company. And then from that point on, every soundtrack that you release, you use your prefix, and then you use your personal numbering system. And that's how you identify your track. An ISRC code is the social security number for a sound recording. Once you attach that ISRC code, then they can track your track anywhere in the world. And that's how your money gets back to you. All right. I told you, Intrepid Songwriter is going to hook you up. I'm going to tell you all the stuff I wish they told me when I first started out. Now, for those of you that still might be confused or you need some more personal time, book a session with me. That's on my Instagram and that's on my YouTube, but it's also on my website, theintrepidSongwriter.com. You can book a one-on-one session with me. I will help you map out a plan to help you get from where you are to where you want to be. I can walk you through every registration you need to make sure you make your maximum money. I can walk you through contracts. I can teach you what neighboring rights are, whatever you need. Okay, so if you want that one-on-one session, book some time with me, theintrepidSongwriter.com. Click on the button that says hire me, and you can book a session. All right, that's it for this week. Don't forget to like and share this video, subscribe to my various channels. I come on and do a live every Friday to give you a production tip and to give you a business tip that's going to help you take your career to the next level. All right, I will see you next Friday. Intrepid Songwriter out.